Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba da da dum bum bum ba da 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 dum. I'm not going to finish my melody because we're running late because we had such technical difficulties. So I am going to start right in. Hello, my friends. Hello from Australia. Okay, it's working. Yay. Hello from Connecticut. Yay, yay. Okay, cool. Hello, my friends. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern time to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to train you up in homeopathy, to teach you what I know as much as I can possibly stuff into the world. I want to get it out there. Hello from Alberta. Hello, my Canadian friends, my Australian friends, my American friends. It's so good to see everyone here. And for those of you who do know me, it's great to see you, friends. It's wonderful to see you all. So let's get right into this, okay? Shall we? Because we need to move along quickly. We had some technical difficulties and we're past that. So I want to talk to you tonight about smog, about smoke in the room, smoke outside, smoke coming from the north, blowing from the west, blowing from the east, smog in big cities, smog in traffic. And so I'm going to consider it all one. And last week we went over a number of medicines, I think it was 5, that were the most noteworthy medicines for the condition of dealing with smoke. Secondhand smoke too, by the way. If someone smokes, a neighbor, my parents used to have a condominium where the person downstairs used to smoke, and it would seep through the cracks of the doorway between my parents' bedroom and their bathroom, and it was horrible. Now, there are a couple ways to look at this. One way to look at it is to take it as use these homeopathic medicines only when they are needed. On the other hand, we do have to be concerned about the fact that if the smoke accumulates, comes around our area, and you've got a baby, or you've got an elderly a parent, or you've got some already a weakened link in your lungs, you might want to protect yourself more than just going inside. Of course we need to go inside. Of course we need to, would not be a bad idea to get an air purifier for your home. But we need to know the homeopathic medicines too, because we may not be able to avoid it. So this past week, I've been working with people and I'm seeing the effects of how these medicines that I talked about last week are acting. Which are the most valuable? And so I would say that the top medicine, I'm going to give you 3 tonight. I'm scaling it down to make this even easier. They're all in a 30th potency. You can also use them in a 6. I've used them in 6s and 30s. But most people have 30. Most people who have kits have 30. So the people I've worked with through this past week or so have counted on their 30th potency. 30C, 30X. Most people have 30Cs these days. First one, Arsenicum album. Such a great medicine because it's a good medicine for asthma, oh yeah, we see everybody. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. It's great for asthma. It's also great for anxiety. And there's a lot of anxiety involved in this. So especially if we see anxiety and restlessness and worry and asthma, or it feels like asthma, or there is a weakness and burning. Arsenicum album often is accompanied by a burning sensation. When it's in the gut, there's often a burning sensation in the gut. When it's in the throat, there's often a burning sensation in the throat. It matters not where this burning might be. I mean, obviously, we don't want, if it's burning in your great toe, that's a little different. But if we have burning in the sinuses, burning in the eyes, in the throat, in the trachea, in the lungs, we know Arsenicum album is a very likely medicine. And so even if you haven't had that, but you know you've had it in the past, You've been to bonfires, and this happens every time. You always get burning, and you get a little anxious and restless. Maybe there's weakness involved. Arsenicum album is going to be a very good choice. Now, I'm giving you the characteristics of Arsenicum album, but I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to pull it all together for you, make it a little bit easier than even just using the characteristics. Alrighty. The next medicine is Carbo-Vegetabilis. Now, years ago, I had asthma. And until I could figure out what medicine was really going to be working best for me, what was going to work best for me, because I was new to homeopathy at the time, I did know this. I knew that air hunger is associated with Carbo-Vegetabilis. Carbo-Vegetabilis. So Arsenicum album is made from arsenic and white arsenic, and Carbo-Vegetabilis is made from burnt vegetable matter. So I'm going to give you, I've got some notes here that I put to aside. Carbo-Vegetabilis can have air hunger. It just can't get enough oxygen. Why? Because there's smoke. Why? Because there's smog. Why? Because you're near a bonfire. Why? Because your neighbor is smoking and it's being sucked into your home. But it can also have hoarseness. And there's a feeling of oppression when the person's breathing. The chest can be raw, not burning. Burning is arsenicum, but there's a rawness in the chest. There can be wheezing and rattling and mucus in the chest. And sometimes there can be coughing attacks. That doesn't mean that it has to be consistent coughing attack. Whenever I say this, it doesn't mean that you have to, these symptoms have to be replete in the description of what you're suffering. It could simply be, I had a coughing attack 2 days ago when the smoke was around me. Can be a spasmodic cough. Don't think also that just because I'm telling you that it's hoarseness and worse talking and oppression of breathing and air hunger, that you have to have all of those. I'm giving you medicines that the weight goes more on one medicine than on the other, and that's how you choose. Now, I have used Carbo-Vegetabilis. It's one of our best medicines for blueness. Blueness in a newborn baby. When babies are first born, sometimes their oxygen level is not right. Air hunger of sorts. And their fingers, their feet, their lips might be blue. This medicine, Carbo-Vegetabilis, 200 or 30, especially at that moment in time, can do it like that. How do I know? I've seen it. I've been at births where I've actually used it, and also after the birth. Sometimes it's a day later, 3 days later, the mom reports to me, the baby's hands and feet are bluish. It's a strange color. Carbo-Vegetabilis has nothing to do with smoke, my friends, but I'm giving you this background because this is such an important medicine. For those of you who are survivalists, if you don't know homeopathy, I feel sorry for you. This is not about survivalism is not about stockpiling antibiotics. I'm sorry. It just isn't. It's stockpiling homeopathic medicines that will last into eternity practically. Okay. So, asthma, Carbo-Vegetabilis, asthma in the aged, asthma when there's blue skin. So if the smoke, the smog, all of those kinds of things, the poor air quality is causing any one of these things, then Carbo-Vegetabilis is our medicine. And when I had asthma some 34 years ago, I used to take Carbo-Vegetabilis 6X regularly, 2-3 times a day. But I also want to tell you a story because I think stories can help illustrate. I had a case many years ago of a woman who was a minister, and she had gone to, I think it was Mexico, where she stayed in a little hut, and all the people in this village stayed in these little huts, and in the hut was a little gas stove. And the gas stoves were used for, obviously, when it got a little bit chilly, and one night it got chilly. She fired up her gas stove, and the flame went out, and she was asphyxiated. That morning, the next morning, when they came to call on her, she was unconscious. They dragged her out out into the fresh air. They knew exactly what had happened. The people who lived in that village had seen this many times before. Now she came to. She was nauseous and kind of spacey for quite some time. She came to me, I believe it was 7 years after this incident. And what she was suffering was no longer air hunger like you would think, no longer the need to get oxygen, but instead she was left with this inability to comprehend, to recall. Her memory was much diminished, and she could not minister to her flock any longer because she was so incapacitated by this event. 2 doses, as I recall, it's been a long time, but 2 doses of Carbovegetablus in a 200C turned her completely around. She called me a few days after she started taking Carbovegetablus and said, I have not felt this well in 10 years. My head is clear. I feel stronger. I feel more capable. I feel more solid, more sturdy in myself. It worked like magic. From being asphyxiated back 7 years prior. So don't think just because time has passed that you can't use these medicines. So we're going to talk about timing in a minute. And let me see how we're doing on our time. Okay. Cyanotic. That's what that is. Low oxygen. The blood causes blueness of the fingers and the person can go completely out. They can become comatose of sorts. So it's one of the best medicines ever for that condition. Carbovegetablus. Now we have 2 medicines, Arsenicum album 30 and Carbovegetablus 30, and then in certain circumstances a 200C. Now someone brought to my attention a medicine that I had not thought about for this work around smoke inhalation, until the moment my team member mentioned this to me, Kate, I said, oh my gosh, absolutely. This is an excellent medicine. Lobelia inflata. Lobelia. It is Indian tobacco, and it's one of our best medicines to help people to quit smoking. In fact, if you find those combination medicines where sometimes they call them smoke stop or quit smoking, and they're homeopathic medicines, and they have a combination of about 4 or 5 medicines, invariably lobelia is in there. It's a great medicine to help people quit smoking, but it's also to help people who have been exposed to smoke, even though they've not smoked. It is a medicine for people who have been harmed by smoke, whether it was voluntary smoking or whether it was involuntary and it was from smog, burning forests, whatever might be involved. So lobelia is, I have some notes here that I want. It's actually an herb, but when we make it into homeopathic medicine, it takes it up many notches. So I say lobelia in a 30C or a 30X. Now let's encapsulate what I've just said so far, shall we? Let's talk about how we put this together. When someone is suffering or could potentially suffer from the smoke that's around them, the smog, if they're in a city that's very smoggy, and Calcutta is like that. I spent a lot of time there. That can be also what we're talking about. In smog, in smoke, in chemicals, generalized chemicals that have something to do with breathlessness and breathing. I'm going to suggest, and I'm not the only one doing this, I've also seen that there are other homeopaths who are coming up with that as well, to use Arsenicum album 30, if you're in it, every 3 hours. If it's not so bad, but you are concerned about it, twice a day. So as you can see, we're going to use it more frequently if we need it more frequently. Carbovegetablus, as well as Arsenicum album. If there's air hunger especially, if there is a chance that that the person could go into feeling like they just can't get oxygen, then we're going to add that Carbo-Vegetabilis 30. And even if it hasn't gotten that far, as a prophylactic with arsenicum, not simultaneously, I would do them separately. I would alternate them. So arsenicum album at 9 in the morning, and then at 10 after 9, we would go to Carbo-Vegetabilis 30, and then should we need lobelia? Yes, I want to see lobelia used in a 30 as well. Then at 9:30, we're going to use lobelia. If it's severe, we're going to go, say in an hour or 2 or 3 hours later, back to arsenicum at noon, 10 after noon. Then we're going to go to Carbo-Vegetabilis 30, and then if needed, we'll use lobelia 30. If we don't need it so severely, then we're going to do this twice a day. Morning, and then 12 hours later. 9 in the morning, 9 at night. Or 7 in the morning, 7 at night. Let's see what kind of questions we have. Secondhand smoke, you bet. And if there's if you have been exposed to secondhand smoke and you are feeling any of these, and I urge you, crack open your Materia Medica, my friends. Go online, read mine. But you don't have to. You can go online and Materia Medica Homeopathy. You can look up Kent. You can look up Boricke, Boericke. You can look up Fatak, Phatak. These are Materia Medicas. Read these medicines. Laryngitis from smoke. Absolutely. Laryngitis from smoke is that hoarse, right? Wouldn't you call that hoarse? Who knows what we're going to be using for that hoarse sensation, right? I just talked about it. Yep. Hoarseness, you bet. Hoarseness. Will you have these on remedy card? No, I only use the remedy cards for my blog. I do this differently. The remedy cards are only on Sunday night blog. Carbo-Vegetabilis. That's absolutely right. Roger Morrison, excellent Materia Medica. Still, I'm going to tell you, Roger Morrison is really just a desktop guide, my friends. It's not as in-depth. We, of course, have Robin Murphy. Excellent book for Materia Medica if you want to delve deeply into this. It depends on how far you want to go with this. Now, people with COPD, if COPD is a different medicine, these are different medicines, and it is. I urge you to. Where do I have information on COPD? I believe I have information in my course titled "Allergic." I'm almost positive it's in that course on how to address COPD. Okay. Indian tobacco. That's right. Lobelia inflata. Yep. Causticum is also good. There are lots of good medicines here. Sore throat. Burning sore throat. Arsenicum album, my friends. Burning sore throat. So listen, if you missed the first part of this because I was having technical difficulties and you need to re-listen to it, by all means, go back and listen to what I've said. I've covered pretty much all of these, I think, in a pretty useful way. So what we've got is Arsenicum album 30, Carbo-Vegetabilis 30, unless it's for a baby that's blue, 200C. And then we consider lobelia. Yes. Okay, malaise due to smoke. You bet. See, I didn't use the word malaise. What did I use to describe Arsenicum album? Fatigue. You don't need the exact word. You need the overall understanding of the word. So whether it's malaise or it's fatigue, Arsenicum album is excellent for that. But let me also mention, Carbo-Vegetabilis can also have that. But Arsenicum album is worry, rush, so rushed, so worried, so intense are the emotions related to this that the person then just practically, well, they fall into a chair. Whereas carbo-vegetabilis is a complete collapse, not unlike what I described from my minister client of 25 years ago. You bet. I think we've got it. Nat Muir took away my husband, my headache from the smoke. Nat Muir is an excellent medicine for headaches. Absolutely. You bet. What I'm giving you here is a kind of a protocol that will cover many people for many of these conditions. And it doesn't need to be smoke, because when you read up on Arsenicum album, Carbo-vegetabilis, and the Lobelia inflata, then you're going to learn, oh my gosh, I could use it for this condition. I can use it for that condition, especially related to respiratory and sinus conditions. What about the smoke from plants burning? That's exactly what I've been talking about. Okay, I think we've got it. We are now 1/2 past. I'm so sorry to go exactly on the right time, even though I've come in late, but I have a large class to attend to. If you're not one of our study group members, by all means, Gateway to Homeopathy, my friends. I cannot urge you enough. Why is a Gateway study group important? Because we need community. And that's where your community is going to begin. In addition to your church group, your homeschool group, etc., your family, etc., you need that community because you're all on the same page. So, with that, my friends, I say God bless you all, and I'll see you next week, and I'll try not to have technical difficulties. Bye now.